Hey guys, it's Vampire Mike from Sega CD Universe, and I wanted to unbox a gift I received from my good buddy Ricky Henry. Thank you so much, Ricky. This was much appreciated. I had mentioned in a prior video that I had some Super Nintendo games, or maybe it was in a post on Facebook, I don't recall, that I had no way to play them. And he said, well, I have a clone system sitting in my closet that I've never opened. Do you want it? Just so happens he went to try it out and it didn't work. So he wrote to the company, and it was still under warranty, I guess, and they said, we'll send you a new one. So he forwarded that to me. So here we have the Classiq 2 HD by Old School. This is a Super Nintendo and Nintendo clone console. It also does Famicom and Super Famicom games. And it has HDMI output, different aspect ratios, comes with 2 controllers, and is 720p. So let's crack this bad boy open and just take a look at it. And remove the plastic. The interesting thing about this console is that most of the ones I've been interested in that I've looked up, like the Retron 5, the Retron 3, etc., they're a lot more money, but also those use emulation. So what it does sometimes with certain systems is it dumps the cartridge onto your system, saves it on the system, lets you play it, and then once you remove the cartridge, it wipes it off the system and starts fresh. This actually uses the cartridges and plays them off the cartridges. So that's a plus and a minus. The plus is that you're using hardware that's actually using the cartridge. The minus is if the cartridge has any kind of issue or it's dirty, you're not going to have a way around it to like use it as a key, so to speak, to download and unlock the... So there's a switch on the bottom here that says NTSC and PAL. I'm assuming that has to do with the hertz. 16:9 or 4:3. You got AV out, HDMI out, and then a DC in port. On the front, you have a reset button. You have a NES or Super NES, and then the corresponding cartridge slots. It also comes with a Super Nintendo type controller here, but it's black to match the system. Obviously the AC adapter, along with an HDMI cord, the AC adapter cord, an AV cable, and an NES type dog bone controller. So pretty cool that they include 2 controllers and 2 different variations, to where if you want to play an NES game, you might want to use the dog bone controller. So you'll recognize that was like the second model, I think, sort of the NES. And I'm going to give this a whirl real quick. I don't capture footage on this channel, really. I used to film my TV, but people hated that. So I am going to just cut the video here and play a couple games, and then I will get back to you. Okay, guys, so let's talk about the Classiq HD2 from Old School. I popped in 6 different titles. I was able to play 5 of them. And initially, I thought that the sound sounded a little tinny. But then I realized the system was set to PAL, and the games were running a little slower and sounded a little different. So I think that's where that issue lied. For some reason, the system comes out of the box with the switch on the bottom set to PAL. So make sure you are set to NTSC. River City Ransom put a huge smile on my face. I adored this game. It's one of my favorite beat-em-ups. And it just perfectly sums up playing video games in my childhood. So this worked perfectly. I then popped in Shadowrun, which is one of my other favorite games. I have it on the Genesis as well. I love it there. Awesome. A big smile came on my face. The music, the atmosphere. I didn't play it like very far. I just kind of messed around for a few minutes. But I love Shadowrun. I've beaten it before while cheating because it is a little difficult and grindy. I then tried out Saturday Night Slam Masters. Didn't realize it was set to PAL, as I had said earlier, so it was running a little slow. But I still had a lot of fun playing it. This is a great wrestling arcade game if you've never played it before. I then played Fantastic Story, which is a Super Famicom Japanese Super Nintendo game. Got this recently. I bought it because I'm a big fan of the Great Muta and Jushin Thunder Liger. This was pretty fun. A little simplistic, but I enjoyed it. And I beat my first match on easy mode and then messed around a little bit and stopped. So I like this. I like that I can play import games. The controllers felt pretty good. They're a little lighter, obviously. The system is a little lighter and cheaper feeling than an original Super Nintendo or Nintendo. Friday the 13th, this one did not work initially, excuse me. I cleaned the contacts, put it back in. It worked fine. And I had a lot of fun with this one. I don't know why, as a kid, it's still a very difficult game, but as a kid, it scared me a little bit. I was probably like maybe 6 years old or so, 7, and I never got very far. I think this is the furthest I've ever gotten in the game. I lit a couple of the cabin flames, and I had fun with it. I enjoyed it. It's, I don't know the ropes very well. I know there's like tricks to go through the game fast and get the best weapon right away and kill Jason. I beat him up once, and then he came back later and killed one of my characters, but this was fun. It worked fine. The only game that did not work for me was Astral Bout, which is another Super Famicom Japanese wrestling game. I cleaned it. I tried it, different kind of positions in the system. Would not work. I don't know why. I may have to return this one to the retro store I bought it from if I still have my receipt. If I don't, I guess it is what it is. And the one thing I will say that is a negative to this system, and I would keep this in mind if you're playing it or planning on purchasing it, it has a frigging death grip on the Japanese games. I don't know if it's because the pin configuration is a little different or just the way it sits with the plastic that's molded. These kind of go in and out pretty easily. These you have to yank out, and I feel like I'm going to break something. So keep that in mind if you're playing imports. If you're playing American games, I probably wouldn't worry too much, but could not get Astral Bout to work. I might try it a couple more times after I make this video, but overall, pretty good impressions, and thank you to my buddy Ricky for sending me this, because now I can go back, play some of my favorites, and pick up games that I've been not picking up in like the flea market and stuff because I had no way to play them. So thank you to my buddy Ricky Henry again. I enjoy it. It's, I think, $69.99 on Amazon. I think that's a touch high. If this was like a $50 console, I'd probably say it's worth it. It's a touch high, but if you need a console and you don't want to play emulation, you want to play actual cartridges, check it out. Thank you guys for watching. It's Vampire Mike from Sega CD Universe. Be good.